Now is probably as good a time as any as to talk about the last few weeks. Oh, good, that's kind of tucked down in there with the tripod foot. There's a car coming, so we will wait. It has been a rough few weeks. Not that bad, but it has been challenging to get out because I didn't at all. There's nobody coming, and now we will just drive to go into the more personal side of things of what's been going on. It has been a few weeks of work. Yeah, I haven't made it out in 2 full weekends, so it's been 3 weeks, however you want to count that. But I spent the last 2 weekends knocking out the contract work that I had. I did, and it just... The first weekend I was like, look, I've been doing this stuff, I've been going out, I need a break, because I'm just feeling myself wear thin by pushing myself to get contract work done, to get all my stuff, all my weekend chores done on one day, and then try to make it out on another day to do all of that, and to still, experience what's going on and enjoy the time without pushing myself too hard. So I decided to do that. I did the contract work the first weekend, and I just said I'm going to stay in this weekend, maybe next weekend. And the next one came, I was like, I'm going to do it again, but I'll be able to finish all the contract stuff. So it is totally done, which is how I have a nice big new lens. That ran me, bought it used, found it for $1,600, which was the cheapest I could find, and it's in good condition. They said that there would be some noticed cosmetics, but I didn't. I noticed one little spot of oh crap. Okay, nobody coming. Turning around. Yep, huge herd of elk. Okie dokie. Nobody coming. Turn around right here. See if I can make it. Oh, I bet I can because I had to pull off. Okay. Well, for that interruption, see the wildlife vlog as opposed to the personal one to understand what that was about. Boy, that was a lot of elk. That was some really cool stuff that just happened. Whew. If I get out here even earlier, I could probably pick my spot where I want to be and set up and get in a better thing rather than just leaning over and doing the best kind of leaning out the window. Not out the window, the lens was out the window. I stayed in the car the entire time because I don't try to misinterpret the rules. To me, when it says do not approach wildlife, remain in your vehicle, photograph from vehicle, that's exactly what it means. It doesn't mean get out and stand next to your vehicle because guess what? The wildlife, if they charge, you got to get back in the vehicle instead of just rolling up the window and driving away. It's just dangerous. These elk seem to be very used to people considering how many were around us the entire time. But yeah, wow. Okay. So this area here, a couple pull-off spots and a sign that says dip. That's where I saw elk for the first time. Good stuff. Anyway, I don't really remember exactly where I was at. I was talking about how I had stayed in the last few weekends to try to get my contract work done because then I was able to afford this. I think I was talking about the pricing. Here's an area I could pull off here. This is a big area. Big open field. This would be even better. I'm sure that the elk come across here. The problem is that once I mount you, it's really hard to get you in and out of there. But anyway, it's just a big open field. Oh, hello. A sign. What do the signs say? Area closed. Entering meadow is prohibited from 5 p.m. to 10 a.m. until the end of October, the end of this month. Danger. Do not approach elk. Weird, right? Anyway. Yeah, so this is clearly a spot. There's a sign there about that stuff. And there's actually, let's go up here a little bit further. There's a placard That's might not be the right word for it, but there is more signage telling me what this area is like, I imagine, or something. Let's see. Oh, it's about the mountain pine beetle. Ew, giant picture of a beetle. Not a fan of bugs, but I'm guessing they get on the pine trees and they're probably bad. Yeah, attacked by bark beetles. Bark beetles, interesting. Anyway, so anybody coming? No. Anybody coming? No. Okay. So buying this lens and the extender along with it, getting my contract work done, I did technically. I am not in debt because it'll be right gone next month by the time all the pay stuff has gone through. But following my rules, I made sure I could pay for everything first. Put about $2,000 in my pocket with that stuff, and then that's $400-ish for the. There's a spot down there where you could. Okay, so you pull off here, you can go down there, and you can actually watch. Okay, that might be a much better place to come to, because then I can set up. There's a parking lot there next to the giant field. So if I come back to do this again, which I should, I could actually set up the camera stuff in the trunk and be still in the car shooting at the back of the trunk, which I did basically. I would not do it for here because sage grouse are a little bit different. They're not quite as big and intimidating, I suppose. And not nearly as dangerous, and I was a good ways away from them. I sat in the back of the trunk, but I set the camera stuff on the outside. If I were to come back and do elk here, I would be in the car with the camera set up in the car. I would not do two cameras because I wouldn't have the room for it. But that way, if an elk approaches, I just grab the trunk and close it, and I'm enclosed in a safe place for my car. Yeah, they've closed off all of this stuff because the elk migrate through here. That's really cool. Wow. So anyway, getting all of that stuff, the lens coating, it's just a neoprene, a camo. I liked it. I wanted it. I want to do that, and I want to practice with birds if I can find a spot today. But considering that area there, I'm not about to get out and walk around. All the stuff said, do not do that in that field. So anyway, that is what I did. It came in yesterday. This is Saturday. It came in on Friday, so I immediately got everything. I started putting the coating on. I was testing it and using it and everything, and super happy with it. I like what it looks like so far. I have not yet to review any of the photos, but I've seen what other people can do with it, so I am quite confident that stuff will start coming out better than it has in the past. All things considered, there's a big nest up in that tree. No birds there, but interesting. Just about to pull off there, that area. Okay, people, that's a campgrounds, and they're there. Okay, cool. So that's what I've been doing the last few weeks, and that is why I hadn't made it out. I knew that they opened up this park to the timed entry. I knew that stopped on the 10th of this month, and it is towards the end of the month now. I don't remember exactly what day it is, 20-something. And so I was like, oh, well, I definitely want to make it out there after the timed entry thing is done, because then I don't have to worry about the hassle of trying to get a pass, trying to be able to get through that stuff, paying extra on top of the pass I've already bought. I didn't want to have to deal with all of that, which is why, and also what I read online about it being one of the most popular parks, like the amount of people that they come through. Obviously the timed entry is there to keep people from, there's a picnic area, to keep people from coming in too many. That's why they do a timed entry, so not everyone can come in at once, to try to disperse it throughout the day, because they get millions and millions of visitors. So now I'm assuming this is more of an off-season, and as a matter of fact, I know the road that I came in on is just straight up listed on Google Maps as closed during winters, because I'm guessing they don't plow this when the snow hits. So, big field, big field. That's why I didn't, but I made it a goal to make it out in October. That was my October goal. I try to set a goal every month to do, and that was when I was kind of struggling with, this started much earlier in the year, and it was like, well, do this, and sage grouse was one of them. It's something like that. It's part of the stuff I'm doing. Anyway, 35 here, not 40. Okay, slow down a little bit. See why there's a flashing sign. Oh, interesting. They actually have road close stuff here. Okay. They do close this road here as well. And there's another parking lot down there. Lots of areas to get out and walk around. Lots and lots and lots. Anyway, that was my, like, sage grouse was a goal back in March or April. I don't remember which month I did that, but that was it. So this month, excuse me, now that things have kind of settled down, because there was a lot of uncertainty about the move and the money and what was going to be going on there and how things were going to settle out. Was I going to have to get a second job in order to just survive in this area? Which were skin of teeth, but shouldn't have to, by getting by, and that, the bills and everything can be paid. There is no money left over for anything else, which is why when I want to buy new camera stuff, I have to work and do my extra contract work and things like that. But anyway, that was my goal for this month, and I was a little concerned when it was hitting. Once they opened it up on the 10th, I was like, well, I'll take a trip out there and see what it's like. See if it is just insanely crowded and, it's just not a good spot to see wildlife. No, I think this is going to be a good place. It's so big. It is just, oh, wow, so big. And there, even with the amount of people, obviously this is not a busy time. I mean, I've seen probably 20 or 30 cars and people and whatnot. There's usually at each parking lot I've seen, there's people who have stopped, and I mean, they see their car. They're obviously out walking trails or something. Okay, so now we're getting into where it's twisty, going up and around mountains. So anyway, this was the goal, and I did it. I accomplished it. I wrote in there just be like, visit Rocky Mountain Park. And in parentheses, like, see elk, because I'd heard from people who live up here that was a time, you drive a couple miles. What I heard was you go into the park, you drive a couple miles, you turn around, and then you just slowly go back, and you just see elk on either side, and if you see them, you pull over, and you can take pictures, and that's exactly what I did. I don't even know if I made it a couple miles into the park before I saw that, but yeah, good stuff. Made the goal, got some new camera equipment to play around with, which I'm super excited to do more of. I'm pretty happy with what I got so far. I think that's about all I got. I'm really glad to be getting out and doing this before the snow hits, because that will probably prevent, especially if the roads are closed, depending on where I go, where it will prevent me from doing huge long day trips where I could get stuck or something. But we'll see. We'll have to judge and see what it's like. It may also just, they might just plow the roads, and it's like you just got to be careful and go at certain times. I'm not really sure, but this is what we're doing. I'll go at least a little more. I don't know how far. I know that it, I don't know, I'm just rambling now as I talk. I should probably conserve some battery. I do have some backup, so I might put you on the charger there with that stuff. But anyway, this is what I got for now. If I think of anything else to really talk about on a personal, I will turn this back on and continue doing that. But until then, I'm going to be driving. I'm going to be looking. Definitely driving to the forest. I guess I could turn around and let you see. What I hope is that the camera will pick up more of the surroundings and not the mount like it did last time, I noticed, where I was like, hey, look at this, and I just pressed the button to flip the camera part around, and it focused on the mount, the windshield mount that I've got, and they were just blurry. Couldn't see what I was actually trying to show. I've tried to angle it up a bit more so that you see more of the landscape that I am currently driving through, to show what that is like. Wow, the mountains. did have one more thing to talk about. What else I've been doing when I haven't been. Sibley's Birding Basics. Okay. Now I keep going. Nobody coming up. Nobody coming up. Nobody coming up. Cool. Back on the road. When I doing the contract work takes each weekend doing the editing stuff. If I have to reshoot anything, the whole situation, it takes at least it's about a 6-hour day doing that stuff. Try to do it in 2 days a weekend if I can for my 3-day weekends, whatever it is. Anyway, the point is what else I have been doing since the beginning of the month. At the beginning of the month, it was a new quarter for work, which means that we completed our goals for last quarter and everybody got a $30 gift card that was on the team, which is great. I used mine to buy a bunch of used books, and they're all bird related. Several that were just other types of identification guides, like what I already have. I think what I have is by National Geographic, and then the other one I got was actually by this very famous ornithologist, I assume, Sibley, who had an identification that was a bigger, thicker one. So those were the two main ones I got. I got a couple more to kind of reference and to look over. Some of them are older, which is actually interesting to me because of the way how much has changed over the years. Just even in my lifetime, looking back at them, I'll look at books, like some of them were written in early 2000, 20 years ago, and look at the birds there, and then you go and you look and they're like, actually, that's not what that was. We've now identified those to be these, or we've changed, the opinion has changed, they now identify them as this. So definitely makes changes over the years with things like that. So it is interesting to see the older ones, and that's another one, specifically this basics one. There is a more advanced or a more thorough, a much thicker one. I got both of them, so I haven't started on that one yet, but I've been reading a lot of trying to learn and see this. Yeah, this one is 20 years old, so there's a lot of it talks about, taking notes when you go out, keeping a field journal, things like that, and documenting when you see or sketching it out to try to do things like that. And it was even like, oh, if you like to keep lists of those things, spreadsheets are basically super useful, and you should see what they're doing with pocket computers, I think was the term it used. And I was like, it made me go, when was this written? And flip back and go, yes, 99 or something, early 2000s. Like, that makes sense. Smartphones didn't exist yet. So it is interesting, but the information is still very useful on those things where it talks about where to go and to just sit and wait. And a real big thing that is talked about a lot is field marks, which is it's observations, it's details that you see. You train yourself to look for these kind of things. Hello. Hold on. Make sure I can safely. I'm still going around a mountainside here. Okay. I can turn and go back the other way. These things that they talk about there are details that you notice more of, not just on the bird, but the field, the not necessarily a field, but in general. You see, what type of tree, how is the bird behaving, what is the area, what time of day, all of these tiny little details that you train yourself. And I didn't even realize things that I was looking for, and I'm not nearly as far as what the book talks about. So it's been anxious to get out to try to spot these things, to help you identify what these things are, and how much you can learn from misidentifying and the errors that you could make in there and what to take away from that. Really fascinating book. I'm really enjoying it. I'm about halfway through, I think. It's just a small thing. Like it obviously, as it says, it's just basics. It's to kind of give you an idea. There's an overlook. That's a drop. That's it's windy up here too. We'll just pull over. And we will actually get out and we will video this. Wow. Yeah, we must be, it said peak, so. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. That's another thing that I have been up to recently, is reading this book and the various things that it offers, and how to identify and what makes it identifiable, and how to bird watch, where to go, what to look for, that kind of stuff. It's been really, really useful. Some of it I knew, some of it I never thought about in those ways before, some of it I straight up I didn't know yet. And so it is exciting, and it does make me want to get back out and look, hence paired with new lens. That's what I am out here doing, looking for birds and all wildlife. So anyway, I'm going to get out and take a look around because we are at the peak of the mountain and it is gorgeous.